we're going to introduce the fundamental law of active management, which is basically another way of computing the information ratio. Let me actually give you the formula, and then we're going to talk about all the components. So we could compute the information ratio as the transfer coefficient times the information coefficient times the square root of breadth. And here you need to be rock solid on what these things are, how do you interpret them, and actually also how to calculate them. You don't need to calculate them, but you need to be able to qualitatively say how to calculate them. So the first one I want to talk about is the information coefficient. And I like to think of this one as the skill of your manager. Is your manager skilled at predicting the future? Okay, so the way you're going to compute this is you're going to take the correlation coefficient between the ex ante active return, so the forecast of the manager, and the ex post active return. So in other words, if the manager predicted a return of 2% and then the active return happened to be 2%, well, we're going to have a perfect correlation between prediction and result. So our information coefficient will be 1. So that's effectively if you are some kind of seer. You have a crystal ball. Nobody does, guys. So obviously, nobody is going to have an information coefficient of 1. What about information coefficient of 0? Well, that just basically means you are guessing. So there's no correlation between what you forecast and what actually happens. And the last case is maybe an information coefficient that is -1. Well, that actually is not bad at all, because then it means that whatever you predict, the opposite thing happens. So if you are familiar with Jim Cramer, jokingly, people say, well, he gives you the top signals when you say, well, some asset is stopping. That probably is a sign to buy, or something is bottoming, sign to sell. And in fact, there was an ETF called Inverse Kramer that was basically following the opposite of what Kramer was saying on X, on Twitter. But obviously that's a joke. I think probably his information coefficient is much closer to 0 than to -1. But information coefficient is gonna measure your ability to predict the future. That's the point here. And if you want to be in finance, you don't need to have a very high information coefficient, but you do need it to be somewhat higher than 0. It doesn't have to be much higher than 0, but you need to have a consistent edge. Think almost like a casino. The casino has a small edge, maybe 2-3% over the players. You might say, well, that's not a lot. But because the roulette spins again and again and again, tens of thousands of times, eventually the casino's gonna make a lot of money. Okay? So as long as you've got a small edge and you trade consistently with that edge, you're gonna make a lot of money. So the information coefficient is the skill at predicting. The other factor that we're going to consider is the number of bets that you're making. That's called the breadth. Very important word though, it's the number of independent bets that you can make. Very important word, because you can make a lot of bets during the year, but if they're really betting on the same thing, you've only made one bet. Yeah. So you might have made 100 bets, but if they're super highly correlated, you've really just made one bet. So you need to be able to make lots of independent bets. Okay. That's the breadth. I call it kind of the experience of the manager. Are you experienced enough to find all those independent bets? And then the transfer coefficient measures the degree to which our manager is unconstrained or constrained. So transfer coefficient of 1, that means that I am fully unconstrained. Think of yourself as some kind of unregulated shadow banking type of global macro hedge fund that can do anything it wants. Or I might be very, very constrained. So the transfer coefficient getting close to 0 is bad because now I'm fully constrained. Maybe they've told me you cannot trade, Martin, at all. You got to keep all your money in cash. Well, then it doesn't matter how skilled I am. I'm not going to have any information ratio, any positive information ratio. So the relationship is actually multiplicative here. Even if one of the numbers is 0, your information ratio drops to 0. So a transfer coefficient needs to be higher than 0. And it's going to be 1 if you're fully unconstrained. If you can only long, but you cannot short, then it drops. If you have to be socially responsible, maybe you cannot invest in defense companies because they, maybe have to do with war, or tobacco companies, unhealthy alcohol, then your transfer coefficient is going to be dropping, even though those may be great investments from a dividend perspective. They may ask me how to compute the transfer coefficient. Well, that also can be computed as a correlation, but here is the correlation between the optimal and the actual active weights. So ex ante, my manager is seeing an optimal weight, but the actual weight is different. Why? Well, again, maybe I know that British American Tobacco is a fantastic company to buy because it's got this nice dependable dividend, and my optimal weight is positive, but my mandate says you cannot invest in tobacco companies, so my actual weight is 0. Well, that drops the correlation between the optimal weight and the actual weight, and therefore it shows as a lower transfer coefficient, and therefore it shows as my being constrained.